Mom does here. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Wanna wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving to few people that actually watch and listen to me. And let's talk about the games. The first game is the Phoenix Suns beating the Cleveland Cavaliers, 120-115. The Phoenix Suns, they won 14 straight. This goes under the radar a little bit. Nobody really talks about them that much. They made it to the conference finals, and they got a couple of superstars on the team. But for whatever reason, it's all, you see Warriors everywhere, because they got Curry, obviously. But they're only one game behind the Warriors. So it might be a two-team race at the top for the first and second seed. Mikal Bridges, minutes is fine, but still waiting for those defensive stats, one block here. I think in points leagues, you probably don't want to hold him. In category leagues, he's still good, a must roster. Hopefully at some point, waiting for that 3 steals and 3 blocks game. And you want those games as often, because his job is to defend. So you would expect him to get a bit more defensive stats. Jay Crowder, just a streamer. DeAndre Ayton, 27 minutes. I have 5 personal fouls. He's been playing okay in some foul trouble this game. And Devin Booker played well. 35 points. He is to me, he's like a top 40-50 guy in 9 category leagues because, the weaknesses really just give you points and threes and some free throws. 49th ranked player. This is where you would expect him to be. 4.1 assists in the last 2 weeks. Top 50 player. But really strong in points and threes. Actually, I don't know if he makes that many threes. Mainly just the points and free throw. He's not a huge 3-point. He only took 3 here. 2.4 is actually maybe a bit high for Devin Booker. Chris Paul, the best player on the team, plus 23. And man is 36 years old and putting stats like this. Like, the only concern with him is injuries. He's putting up productions game after game. And, again, on the season, where is Chris Paul? For the whole season, he's 12th ranked player. But if we break it down, mainly he give you assists and steals. 10.4 assists, I think there's a higher chance that he sustained the assist number than steals. 2.1 for Chris Paul at 36 years old, I think it's a bit too high. And another thing is, assists is hard to get on the waiver wire, but steals are kind of easy. So maybe you could think about trading Chris Paul away for another top 20 player. So you trade away assists, but you get 3 or 4 categories back. Maybe you give away some efficiencies as well, but that's something I'll be look to do. Because at this point, it's just like he's 2 categories, and with 1 category that's easy to get on the waiver wire. Like if it's assists and blocks, right? I'll probably be happier because blocks are a bit harder, or assists or rebounds, it's a bit harder. But either way, if you draft, he usually get drafted in the 3rd round, putting up 12th ranked player value. That's great, and he's doing it every single year. Cameron Payne played some minutes with Chris Paul. The minutes still too low for us to be any fantasy relevant. We look at the Cleveland Cavaliers. Lauri Markkanen, getting his opportunity. Had a pretty good game last game. The game before this, 14 points, 11 rebounds. I think he's a guy we want to roster. But realistically, probably top 80, 90. But if he's out on the waiver wire, we have to pick him up. His game is just, he doesn't get any defensive stats or assist. So mainly just the rebounds, like a Kyle Kuzma, I would say. A better version of Kyle Kuzma, of course. Rebounds, some points, some threes. Jerry Allen, another huge game. This year, his field goal has been unbelievable. He has been unbelievable with his field goal. Another 9 for 10. Every other game, he's just shooting 90%. On the season, he's a 68th ranked player. 11.2 rebound is real nice, and 68%. Is that leading the NBA? With enough volume, of course. But the biggest thing is he's averaging just 0.9 blocks. So if that goes up to 1.5, 1.6, easily top 50 player. But I think his field goal is going to go down, drop a little bit. Isaiah Okoro started. Let's not worry about him. And Darius Garland, for the rest of the season, I think he's going to be... because Colin Sexton is out for season, so he might be a bit sell high at the moment. But again, he may not be for everybody. He's very low field goal and high turnovers. If he pounding those two categories, he's great, top 20. I wouldn't trade him, right? If he pounding those two categories, I wouldn't trade him. If you're not, and I look to make a trade. But his usage should be pretty high given that Colin Sexton is out. Same thing with Ricky Rubio, a must roster. I don't know why Ricky Rubio took 20 shots. Maybe some of those shots went to somebody else. It would have been better, but that's fine. Ricky Rubio taking this many shots. That's fine with me. 4 rebound, 5 assists, and a steal. Struggle from the free throw. He's obviously a must roster for the rest of the season as well. Let's look at the next game. This game was wild. Lakers went to overtime. LeBron came back from the suspension. You can tell LeBron is angry. Played 43 minutes. Another guy. How old is he? 36? 36, yep. He is 36. And he's going to turn 37 next month. So just got to think about that. Again, LeBron this year, whenever he played, he's putting up big numbers, so maybe you could use that to trade him. He's the 9th ranked player. LeBron plus somebody, plus the top 100 guy for Harden, Paul George, LaMelo Ball, Karl Anthony Towns, like all those guys in this area. LeBron for Porzingis, that would be an interesting trade. Both guys could potentially miss some games. I would trade LeBron for AD as well. Like that, I get AD. Trade LeBron for Giannis. All those guys, I'm looking to do those trades. I don't know. Also with Russell Westbrook around, I don't expect LeBron to get that many assists. He's getting 6 assists right now. I don't know if that's sustainable even. 1.9 steals, that's a bit high. And he's shooting 80% from the free throw line. So there's a lot of things that could be worse for LeBron. On a per game basis, of course, I know he's missed a lot of games. He's only played 9 games so far this year. So it's up to you. Like if you can get those guys, the guys in the top 10, I'll absolutely do it. You could do LeBron plus somebody. Otherwise, try to look for a top 15 guy. Once we talk about top 20, that really depends on how many games LeBron is gonna play. But on the per game basis, I don't think LeBron will be top 15, to be honest, in 9 category leagues. So if you can get a top 15 player, that's obviously going to be healthier than LeBron, then you don't think about it, you do it. Taylor Horton-Tucker, the biggest sell high after those first 3 games. Just the 29 minutes when the game went to overtime, still a hold in my opinion. Does have some upside. But yeah, pretty rough. DeAndre Jordan is still playing high minutes. Let's not worry about him. Avery Bradley, let's leave him on the waiver wire. Russell Westbrook, again, a sell high. The free throw is nice this game. 9 for 11. I think he went 8 for 9 against the Knicks yesterday, 20 points. But you see, the assists immediately cut down to half. So LeBron and Russell Westbrook, they're going to eat each other out with their assist numbers. Like, LeBron a couple years ago, he averaged like 9 assists. Russell Westbrook, obviously, last year averaged 10. This year, if they're playing together, it won't be close to the assist number they were putting up. But everything else should be okay. That's why I think Russell Westbrook is a sell high. I mean, he's still put up a pretty good line, so you could still try to trade him. Malik Monk had 2 games in a row, but I just don't trust him. Only a streamer. And Carmelo Anthony, 30 minutes, 14 points and a steal. He's that fringe guy that he's been struggling shooting the ball. You could drop him if you want, and you could always stream him, providing good threes and points. For the Pacers, Justin Holiday's minutes is up, but he took 12 threes as well. If you want, and the minutes has been trending up for him. That's the interesting thing. Karis LeVert he was in some foul trouble, but LeVert has not been good this season, and the minutes is not there really either. So I would look to try to sell LeVert, if he has a good game or two. He obviously has some injuries going on. I don't know if the injury is playing a part with him, but minutes have been low so far this season. Maybe he will ramp up afterwards. Sabonis, 14 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists. An okay game, but the fact that he only took 9 shots is a bit worrying. What are you gonna do? You cannot sell him now, so you just have to hold. Miles Turner could potentially to buy low. If your team is pounding free throws, pounding threes, I think he's great. Miles Turner numbers are still in 2 blocks, 12 points. We talked about Karis LeVert. Malcolm Brogdon. Yep, he's been playing well lately. He's a guy after a month or two, try to trade him. For the whole season, he's actually been super good, 24th ranked player, while only averaging 0.7 assists. Sorry, 0.7 steals. To me, on a per game basis, he should be in that top 30 range, top 30, top 35. But I do expect like a bigger drop off once we get to the second. Like he does this every single year, because he's playing such high minutes. He's a bit injury prone. He kind of fall off in the second half. Let's talk about the next game. The Charlotte Hornets and the Orlando Magic. 106-99. Good win for them. Gordon Hayward, look at that. Would you look at that? This is why I'm not too high on him. If you can get a top 50 guy back, he played pretty well last week. You do it. After this game, you hold. Miles Bridges is a buy low right now. Struggling shooting the ball, but 9 rebounds, 6 assists, and still in 3 blocks. He's a guy, multiple. I think he's probably he can contribute across all categories. He doesn't have one category that's super strong, but everything, he does a bit everything. So that's really good. And his efficiency should be okay. He's struggling with his from the field and from the free throw line as well. So I would look, when I say buy low, probably like a top 50 player. I expect him to be top 30. He was like a top 10 guy. Now for the whole season, he's 26th ranked. And in the last 2 weeks, it's probably pretty bad. Last 2 weeks, yep, 90th ranked player. Any top 50 player, I look to buy him. Mason Plumlee, just putting up okay numbers. If you need rebound, if you're pounding points and threes, go look at him. And while Terry Rozier, this is a perfect time to try to sell Terry Rozier for any top 40 player or 50 player even. If you do Terry Rozier for Miles Bridges, I would. Although, first couple of games, Miles Bridges put up those big numbers. They were without Terry Rozier. But I think if you can get Miles Bridges for Terry Rozier, I would absolutely do the trade. That is to get Miles Bridges, of course. He had 6 steals this game. That would really help his value. Who are Orlando Magic just giving him the ball? Somebody must have been. Terry, 31st ranked player in the last 2 weeks. Yeah, good time to sell. LaMelo Ball did not have the best game and was in some foul trouble just at 25 minutes, but he should be fine. Top 10 guy moving forward. If he struggles again for a few more games, let's try to trade him. And Kelly Oubre Jr., 21 points. He could be a streamer, while Cody Martin could be a good streamer as well. This game really good, actually. 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. If he's pounding points, I think he's giving you good value. He's contributing across the board. Had 1-3, good efficiency, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. I mean, he's not going to do this every game, but he's capable of, and he's been getting consistent, 27, 28 minutes. Could be a good streamer, of course. For the Orlando Magic, Wagner, 16 points. Yeah, he's gonna score 15 points, maybe 3 assists, 4 rebounds, those type of numbers. Not the most exciting, but nice efficiency, nice value across the board. Wendell Carter Jr. had a good bounce back. He's been struggling a whole week. Last week, 14 points, 11 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 assists. And he's been making a lot of threes this year as well. In the last 2 weeks, he was a buy low. I think 123rd ranked player in the last 2 weeks. On the season, he is the 95th. This is probably where I would expect him, like around 80, 90. A very good rebounder, and he really hasn't been blocking any shots. 0.6 blocks. So if he can get that up to 1, he'll be a top 70, 60 player. Potential, of course. Blocks can always help you. Mo Bamba, minutes is good, but no defensive stats this game. 18 points and 12 rebounds is good. Like both Wendell Carter Jr., Mo Bamba, I think I talked about many times. They're in a risk of losing some minutes. One of them or 2 of them or both of them lose a few minutes to Jonathan Isaac when he does come back. So we don't know. This is a situation where we just don't know. Have to wait and see. But if you can try to sell them where their rankings are right now, I probably would. Wendell Carter Jr., if I can get a top 80 guy back, I would. Mo Bamba, if I can get a top 50 guy back, I would. Actually, Mo Bamba's ranking, I took a look, it's super high actually. 30 something. So if you can get a top 40 guy, I don't think I would think too much. Garrett Harris got 35 minutes. Let's not worry about him. And this game, Cole Anthony was out. So Jalen Suggs got a few more minutes. I don't think he's going to put up these numbers. 17 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, and still on the block consistently. So let's not worry about him. Let's go to the next game. The Brooklyn Nets got the easy win, 123-104. Kevin Durant played great again. Just the 21 points, actually. Only took 16 shots. They have a pretty balanced attack, actually. Aldridge took 13 field goals. Harden, we know Harden. Not like when he was a Rocket, right? Mainly just distributing. But KD super efficient, and good to see him getting 2 steals. No threes this game. DeAndre Bembry, huge line, to be honest. 10 rebound, 3. That's why we want to stream him and James Johnson. James Johnson didn't really do much. With Bruce Brown out, you hope for these type of games. Really, really good. If Bruce Brown continues to be out, I would look to stream DeAndre Bembry for those rebound, assists, steals, and blocks. He can provide those. Not so much with points on threes and efficiency, but those categories he could provide. Aldridge is a must roster, playing super well. He's starting. Blake Griffin, it's not like Blake Griffin was hurt, just coach's decision. Claxton gonna be back at some point. So if you could sell LaMarcus Aldridge for any top 80, 90 value, I would, because he's in a risk of losing minutes, and he's gonna miss a bunch of games as well. I would expect, but really good here. Still in the block, 9, super efficient again. Patty Mills 7 threes, just a 3 streamer, and Joe Harris is gonna be back. So if you can trade him for any value, sure, but I doubt it. And Harden, 13 field goal attempts, had 20 points, and a team best plus 29. He's been, the points, and people look at his points be complaining, but he's the 8th ranked player in 9 category leagues while averaging 5 turnovers. So if he's not averaging those, for example, if I'm punting turnovers, he's the 3rd ranked player. So yeah. Cam Thomas, interestingly, got 25 minutes. Team worst. Cam Thomas is a rookie. I don't think he's going to be fantasy relevant, but interesting to see him getting 25 minutes. For the Celtics, Jason Tatum a really bad game, minus 33. A good buy low. If I can get if I can trade away LeBron James for Jason Tatum, that's something I'll be looking to do. Bad game, but Conley stat-wise, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal and block is not the worst. And Robert Williams was out, and we'll see here versus the Nets. They're not gonna play Al Horford that many minutes. He's fallen off a little bit, maybe a buy low, just 8 points for rebound. But with the Horford, you're gonna get these type of games. To me, he's still a top 50 player, 50, 60, because super efficient. But Conley stat-wise, if the blocks fall off, the majority of his value coming from the efficiency. So if the blocks fall off, let's say he just average 0.8 blocks, maybe not top 50. Maybe we're talking about top 70, 80, but still a hold. Jaylen Brown didn't really do much. A buy low, just played the 24 minutes. Obviously, just want to ramp him up slowly. A good buy low. Jaylen Brown should be a top 30, 35 player. If he can improve his free throw, then we can talk about being 25. Marcus Smart, huge game, 8 assists, 2 steals and a block, and 3 threes. Really good Marcus Smart game, to be honest. And Dennis Schroeder with everybody back. This is where we get 10 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. Still a hold, but see how high window is close. He still played 36 minutes though, so that's good to see. But with Jaylen Brown, obviously Celtics as a whole struggled, but don't expect him to average 20 points when all the guys are back. Let's look at the next game. The Chicago. This game was a surprise. The Bulls losing to the Rockets, 113-118. I don't know what happened this game. Zach LaVine, good to see him getting those defensive stats, but rebound assists are also very, very low this year. He's probably the worst fantasy player then, which is expected, right? You get all those guys coming in, but I expect him to get fewer points, but maybe more assists or maybe more defensive stats, because he could focus on doing the other stuff. He's the 30th ranked player, averaging just 3.7 assists this year, while still averaging just a 0.4 steals and 0.4 block. 0.4 blocks, I guess, is okay, but the steals is way too low. If he can get one steal, then he can potentially move up to that top 20. Without it, just a top 30, maybe even worse. DeMar DeRozan falling off was a huge sell high. For now, just hold. The efficiency wasn't going to stick. I think we all know that, but 7 assists here is really good. And he's a guy that doesn't turn the ball over. He get a bunch of assists, but won't turn the ball over. Vucevic back, still struggling shooting the ball, continues to be a buy low. I think he should finish as a top 30 guy. So, if you can trade him for a top 40 or 50 player that's overperforming at the moment, like Terry Rozier plus somebody for Vucevic, that's something I'll be looking to do. Javonte Graham started. I think that fits them than Kobe White BS. But they still lost. 2 steals and a block. He could be a defensive streamer, I suppose. Lonzo Ball, a huge game. Shot the ball super well, 19 points. He was scoreless and then bounced back in a big way. 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals and 2 blocks. Really good stuff from Lonzo. And Caruso, 3 steals. He's just mainly a defensive streamer and some assists. For the Rockets, we got Kevin Porter Jr. back. That's good to see. And what do you know? Bad efficiency everywhere and 6 turnovers. But the 6 rebound is good. 2 threes, 9 assists and a steal. If Kevin Porter Jr. is dropped, right, I would go scoop him up. And obviously he's not for everybody. If you're not punting those efficiencies, he's really gonna hurt your team more than probably he helps your team. So let's go pick him up. He's out there on the waiver wire. For Christian Wood, finally the blocks are coming in, 2 blocks. Still struggling. The shots are just not falling. 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 blocks is okay. Hopefully he improve. He's been horrible. I mean, the entire Rocket squad has been horrible. Jason Tate, 21 minutes. Had 5 turnovers. Not a must roster. And the big news here is Jalen Green got hurt. If you don't have an IR spot, let's wait and see how many games he's going to miss. If he's going to miss a good period of time, I think he's a drop. He does have upside, like Emperor Şengün, but we don't see it yet. Like at least we're seeing flashes of Şengün being good in fantasy. We see that one game from Jalen Green, but he's not, other than points and threes, he's not really contributing. Like in 10 minutes he did well, but again, no defensive stats and low field goal. So he's 100% out for everybody. And if he's gonna out, you don't have IR spot, very, very comfortable moving on from him. Eric Gordon, they're giving Eric Gordon 31 minutes. That is interesting. 10 points is still in a block. If he continues to get 30, maybe they're just showcasing him so that he could get traded later on. But I'd rather give those minutes to some of the young guys. Emperor Şengün played just the 60 minutes. I don't know. They actually didn't play Daniel Theis this game, but Şengün only got 16, the backup center minutes. Him and Christian Wood can definitely coexist. But we'll see. We'll see. Silas should be, maybe start Christian Wood at the center is a good idea. It'll be a thing moving forward. Let's look at the next team, the Toronto Raptors. Raptors, they struggled, but they are, they're there, around the 8th seed, 9 and 10, 3 and 7 in their last 10. They do have some talent on the team. I mean, if you look at their front court, they got some crazy length. Scotty Barnes, Siakam, and OG Anunoby. Scotty Barnes, 17 points. He was a plus 18. That's good. 9 rebounds. In fantasy, he doesn't shoot that many threes, but good enough solid points, rebounds. Efficiency is a concern, but with a lot of rookies. But counting stats should be solid enough. Some assists and some defensive stats. For Siakam, 17 points. Not the best, probably a buy low. To me, he's a top 50 player in 9 category leagues. He hasn't been that. He's missed a bunch of games. But despite him playing poor, they still win the game because of Gary Trent Jr. my guy. 40 minutes. He's actually the 21st ranked player, you know, for the whole season. And in the last 2 weeks, some people think that he's fallen off, but he's the 17th ranked player in the last 2 weeks, averaging 22 points. That's fine. 4 threes. That's a bit high. And 1.3 steals. So the steals are falling off a little bit, but still, like, he's doing it in the other areas, and he doesn't turn the ball over at all. That also helps his value. But either way, very big steals guy, good threes, a lot of threes and points, like all the other stuff. You know, I see him being a top 50 player the rest of the way. But if you can get a top 30 player, if you can trade him for Miles Bridges, I absolutely would. Fred VanVleet continues to block shots. I don't know how he does it. You know, he does have that a groin injury a couple weeks ago. He's a sixth ranked player in the last 2 weeks. Why? 21 points, sure, that's not too crazy. 3.53 is a bit high, but you know, 5 rebounds, 6.3 assists. But it's the 1.8 steals and 1 block. Like 1.8 steals is sustainable. Like we've seen it. 1 block, I don't know how he does it. Last year he was also blocking a lot of shots. Probably just stripping, you know. 45% from the field is also good. So Fred VanVleet really good. He's just so good in category leagues. Get a bunch of assists, don't really turn the ball over. The only thing is his field goal. If you pound in field goal, he's super good. Chris Boucher, I think a lot of people love him. I think we see here 7 minutes. Let's just drop him everywhere. For the Grizzlies, Desmond Bane continued to shoot unbelievably. I think we really look to Dillon Brooks is ramping up. He had 5 personal fouls in 26 minutes, and he's taking shots away not just from Desmond Bane. Like Desmond Bane is like the 4th or 5th option. He's taking shots away from Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. That's how scary Dillon Brooks is. So I look to trade Desmond Bane. Like if I can get a top 70, 80 value, 100, then what's the point, right? But like 70, 80, I probably would do it. Like if I can get a Wendell Carter Jr. or I would throw him there for a 2-for-1 to get a top 50 player, I would. He's shooting the ball unbelievably, but he's not really providing anything else. He hits a lot of threes as well, but I do think Dillon Brooks is going to take a lot of the value away, a lot of shots. The minutes might still be fine. He's probably going to be a must roster anyways. Top 100. Let's look at his rankings in the last 2 weeks. He also had an unbelievable game versus the Jazz as well. Not Dillon Brooks. Desmond Bane. Yep, he is the 85th ranked player on the season. So if you get an 80 guy, 90, even 90 guy, I probably would do it. And in the last 2 weeks, that's where he was super good, 51st ranked player. So I look to try to sell him. Jaren Jackson Jr. also in foul trouble. Just the 8 shots, super efficient. He'll be better. I think we know what Jaren Jackson can do with his blocks, defense, threes, points. I think he'll come around and just need to stay out of foul trouble. Steven Adams is probably a drop at this point, just to 20 minutes, while Brandon Clark got a lot of the backup center minutes. So, like, if you want to move on from Steven Adams, I totally understand. Just because the minutes are not guaranteed. If you can guarantee him playing 30 minutes, and I'm pounding free throw, like, totally fine. No worries, I could hold him. But, you know, Ja Morant, he really improved his steals this season. That's really helping out his value. The threes, he was hitting at a good clip. Before this game, of course, he only took 1 3. But the rest of the line looked really good still. But they lost to the Raptors team after a huge win over the Jazz. The next game really wasn't close. Oh, shoot, we got so many games. Detroit got destroyed by the Milwaukee Bucks. That's understandable. Sadiq Bey, kind of like Kyle Kuzma, 13 points and 7 rebounds. Some points and some rebounds, some threes. That's about it. Bad efficiency, just like Kyle Kuzma. Is he a must roster? He's not for everybody. But if you like the points and rebounds, sure. Jeremy Grant continues to struggle from the field. I mean, the guy is shooting so poorly, but his ranking is, well, 70-30 in the last 2 weeks. 1.5 steals is not sustainable, right? I don't even know he will score 20 points this season. We'll see, because Kate Cunningham is around. I don't know. If you can sell him for top 30, 40, I would. Top 50. Otherwise, just hold. Corey Joseph started, but guess what? He played just the 7 minutes. Did he get hurt? Why did he start and only play 7 minutes? It doesn't make any sense. I guess it just doesn't make any sense. He had a pretty decent game, had like 9 assists and 3 steals the game before. But yeah, we could drop him really. Killian Hayes is gonna be back eventually. Had some streaming value, but after this game, I don't know if I be brave enough. Cade Cunningham, he's a good rebounder. 8 rebounds here. Maybe because the Isaiah Stewart is out, he's taking some of the rebounds away from the big man. I don't know. But the assist should be solid enough. The defensive stat should be there. But you should really be punting turnovers and field goals if you want to have him. And if you're already punting those 2 categories, I look to try to trade Cade Cunningham. Throw him like a top 60 guy. Because that's probably he's if you're punting those 2 categories, he's a top 30, 40 possibly. If you trade a top 60 guy away, like you winning in that trade. Even though Cade Cunningham may not finish at the top 60 in 9 category leagues, right? I think best case scenario probably top 50, 60, just because he's turning the ball over too much and the efficiency is a concern. But Conley stat-wise, very solid. And Isaiah Stewart will be back next game. For the Milwaukee Bucks, Chris Middleton, great, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. And Giannis Antetokounmpo, a monster game, plus 25, 33 points. Really not much to talk about. If you punting free throw, he's top 3, 4 player for sure in fantasy. If you're not, just the top 20. Like in the years to come, if you draft Giannis, you have to think about punting free throws. This is something you're probably gonna take in first round. So just in the second round, just try to take a guy that's like not great. Like just don't take like I don't know, Damian Lillard obviously not a second rounder who's a great free throw shooter. Just don't take like a Donovan Mitchell, those guys in the second round. Just a bad combination. You can take a guy that's like 79, 80% free throw. But yeah, just really gotta think about punting free throws. Bobby Portis, 28 points. He's a huge sell high. Brook Lopez is gonna be back eventually. We just don't know when. I don't know what's going on with Lopez. But if you guys sell Bobby Portis for a top 50, 60 guy, like Bobby Portis for plus somebody for Cade Cunningham, that's something I would do. Like he could maybe still a rosterable guy when Lopez comes back, because he can really stretch the floor. He plays well with Giannis, but this insane efficiency at the minutes won't stick. Grayson Allen, maybe a drop, 24 minutes for no reason. He wasn't in foul trouble. We know he's gonna fall off when everybody comes back. So I'll be okay moving on from him. And Jrue Holiday, 6 assists. One of his best games, to be honest. Shot the ball well against a bad Detroit team. So good game to get him back on track. He's a top 30 guy, so continue to buy low if the owner is getting frustrated. Let's look at the next. The Timberwolves on the road right now. They beat the Miami Heat. They won. The Heat, they're actually second in the Eastern Conference. While the Timberwolves, after the 5-game winning streak, they are 9-9 because they got everybody back. For the Heat, Jimmy Butler, okay game, not the best. And I don't know. Jimmy is being averaging 25 points. I don't think that's gonna stick. But everything else should be fine. PJ Tucker, minus 23. Let's not worry about him. And Bam Adebayo, good efficiency from the field, but 4 for 11 from the free throw line. So he probably lost you free throw this week. He was shooting like 85% from the free throw line, and then now this. So his free throw routine, something's wrong. If you are that inconsistent, for a stretch you're shooting 86%. Now this game you go 4 for 11. And again, just a bit underwhelming. Rebounds, not the highest. 3 assists are still, and no blocks again. Duncan Robinson hit 5 threes, a good 3-point streamer. And Kyle Lowry, these are the type of games. After this type of games, he fouled out in 22 minutes. That's kind of crazy. That we look to buy him. just very, very solid assist, which is super hard to get on the waiver wire, right? And he hits some threes, gets some defensive stats. He won't score a lot, right? His field goal is gonna be bad, but all the other areas, he's also a pretty good rebounder as a little guard. Tyler Hero struggled, and this is the problem with Tyler Hero, is that if he's not shooting the ball well, what area is he providing? One block here is nice, but usually it's double zero, 0 steals, 0 blocks, low assist, and if you add in the low field goal, he's just a lot of negatives, you know. For the Timberwolves, great. Anthony Edwards played 40. Why did they play him 43 minutes? I don't know. Well, yeah, Patrick Beverley got hurt this game, but you could give some of those minutes to Malik Beasley. Also got 37 minutes, so I could see why. But let's wait and see how bad the injury is for Patrick Beverley, because he's been playing for. Maybe he doesn't miss any games, so I would just hold. If he's gonna miss some games, probably drop. I mean, a lot of his value coming from the defensive stats, and he's been getting a bunch over the last week or so. But that could fall off anyways. So if he's gonna be out, I think I'm okay on moving on from him. And actually, a lot of guys on this team probably a sell high after this game. Like Malik Beasley is a guy that we could pick him up. He had a huge game, 29 points. Mainly just a points and threes guy. Like, sure, we could pick him up. But D'Lo probably a sell high. He's been on the last 5 games, he's played super well. You could sell him, like if you could sell him for a top 50 player, you know, he's very, very inefficient. If you could sell him for a top 50 player, I would. Cat, in some foul trouble, just 28 minutes, but he should be fine, top 5 player. And Vanderbilt is a sell high. 15 rebounds, 4 steals in just 25 minutes. There's no way. And the minutes, like he could lose minutes to some random guy. He could lose to Jaden McDaniel. He could lose minutes to, I don't know, Naz Reid. The minutes is not very consistent with him for the power forward position. So I look to trade him. Like if I can get any value back, I would. But you know, he's very, very good fantasy player. I think we all know that. But just not like this. 15 rebounds, 4 steals. Anthony Edwards also sell high. If he can get a top, you know, he's gonna have some efficiency issues. If he can get a top 25 to 30 player after this game, I would. Edwards is he's 42nd ranked player, so top 30 player. I would do it. Yeah, everything looks great. Just his efficiency is a concern. So you know what? I actually prefer just holding on to him, because I prefer counting stats over efficiency. But if you got an efficient team, you could maybe think about try to trade him away. Karl Anthony Towns. Oh yeah, we already talk about all the other guys. But Anthony Edwards probably, you know, if you can get him to a top, like you can get him for Bradley Beal, I would, who's been struggling pretty hard. Anthony Edwards plus somebody for Bradley Beal. It's, you know, again, after performances like this, good idea to try to sell some of these guys, like Anthony Edwards and Vanderbilt. The Wolves are, you know, not denying that, you know, they've been playing well the last 5 games. So maybe a sell high for some of these guys. The next game, the Wizards actually got blown out by the Pelicans. This was ugly. Nobody played well other than Beal. I mean, even Beal didn't really play well. Just 23 points and no threes. Nothing else really. And 1 for 3 from the free throw line. Spencer Dinwiddie, don't drop him. You know, still grab 8 rebounds and 9 assists. His biggest problem is not a lot of threes and no defensive stats. Daniel Gafford played just 15 minutes, while Montrezl Harrell played 24. So Harrell this season, unbelievably 41st ranked player. I still think it's a sell high. If you can get a top 50 player, I would. I just don't think he would get consistent 25, 26 minutes, even though that has been the case in the last 2-3 weeks. But is it going to sustain all season? Thomas Bryant going to be back eventually. Daniel Gafford should be getting, he's starting. I don't know why. He should be getting at least 24 minutes a night. So they will split the center minutes. minutes is the biggest concern for Harrell. If he can sustain, let's say 27, 28 minutes, he could be a top 50 player. But there's also always the risk of losing that. Kyle Kuzma played really bad, I see, but he's still a hold. KCP could be a defensive streamer because he's been getting a lot of steals, but that's about it. For the New Orleans Pelicans, Herbert Jones, yeah, we could stream him. They're doing some lineup changes. Devontae Graham came back and started, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker is coming off the bench. I would still hold Nickeil, even though the minutes is low, but overall an okay game. 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal. Herbert Jones, defensive streamer, and some rebounds. 7 rebounds, 4 steals is pretty good. Brandon Ingram, finally a good shooting night, and got a steal, so congratulations. Overall efficiencies was fine. Still probably a buy low. Valanciunas, just the 24 minutes because of blowout. But I don't know. Willie Gomez has been playing well the last 2 games. Again, same thing. If you can get a top 30, you try to do it. Otherwise, just hold. His minutes was a bit high. It has been a bit high, in my opinion. 18th ranked player now, averaging 32 minutes. I don't know if he average 32 minutes rest of the season, right? Zion's gonna be back. It's gonna get impacted. But again, if you cannot trade him for a top 30 player, I think he should be a top 50 player, even when Zion comes back. But again, if you look at his categories, mainly the efficiency and rebound, huge rebounder at some points, and a good free throw shooter as a center. So if you don't need those, I would look to. I'm willing to lose some value to get somebody back. Like if the category he's providing doesn't fit your team, that always is the case. And Josh Hart, I mean, come on, we have to pick him up now. The defensive stats have been trending up. Really good game again. 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. Great efficiency everywhere. 16 points and the team best plus 23. Okay, let's go to the next game. We got 4 more games. The Jazz, OKC made it close. Shea is gonna be out for a few more games. But again, like even without Shea, they put up a fight. That's surprising. Donovan Mitchell struggled a little bit. 13 points, 5 assists. But the main thing is, let's see if Donovan can sustain the defensive stats. I could see him averaging 25 steals. That makes him a top 25, 30 player range. His field goals are going to be up and down. I think we all know that. Mike Conley, whenever he pops off, I would trade him to a top 50 player, top 50 or 60. That should be the strategy. Rudy Gobert somehow played 39 minutes. I don't know why is that only played 3 minutes. I don't know. This is very high minutes for Rudy Gobert, but dominated. 17 rebounds, 2 steals, and 5 blocks. Probably a sell high. If you can get a Rudy for a top 15 player, I probably would. But again, it's about if you're trading away, it's because his strength is very clear: field goal, rebound, and blocks. Those 3. But he is absolutely 0. No threes, no assists, no steals. So it's again, like one of the situations. If he doesn't fit your team, you should be okay giving away some of the value to some other team and get the categories that you need. That's something Royce O'Neal somehow got 5 steals and 2 blocks. Mainly just a defensive streamer. Jordan Clarkson, great, but a points and 3 streamer at this point, not a must roster. For Oklahoma City, Aaron Wiggins got the start with Shea out, but he didn't do anything. I think Josh Giddey, we look to trade him after this game. The last 2 games he's been really good without Shea, putting him up like almost triple doubles every single game, and he's got 2 more games to do this. But I look to trade him. But if not, just hold. He's been putting up pretty good numbers. No defensive stat, that kind of sucks, but everything else looks great. 6 turnovers a bit high. Lou Dort, 27, he popping off. Points and 3 streamer, again, not a must roster. Jeremy Robinson-Earl, the minutes has been trending up. If you need rebounds and some threes, I would do the swap like Kyle Kuzma for him actually, because they're providing points and rebounds at a pretty similar clip, and Robinson-Earl is probably more efficient. Darius Bazley, finally, very good. Limited his shot attempts, 7 attempts, 8 rebounds, a steal, and 3 block. Great defensive numbers. Again, if you need rebounds and the blocks, you could think about potentially streaming him, but just remember he's going to destroy your field goals and free throws and everything else. Let's look at the next game, the Atlanta Hawks beating the San Antonio Spurs. Kemba Huerter, a 12-team guy in the short term, just to 26 minutes. But the Atlanta Hawks, they're also on the road lately. You know, they've been beating some quality teams along the way. 6-4. They won 6 straight, actually. So had a very rough start, but they won 6 straight. Very hot at the moment. John Collins, he had a great game last game. This game, just nothing. 15 points and 5 rebounds. And would you look at that, Clint Capella. This is probably a good sell high game after this. Clint on the season, 61st ranked player. If you can get him for a top 40 player, and again, like Rudy Gobert, he 20th ranked. Somehow he got 5 steals this game. He's not a big steals guy, but 3 blocks shouldn't be surprising. 13 rebounds. If you can get a top 40 guy back for him, I absolutely would. Again, he's not for everybody. Like, he doesn't, just like Rudy Gobert, he mainly offers those 3 big man categories. But if you decided to punt any one of those categories, I really would try to trade him. Bogdanovic, one of his best games of the season, actually. Did a bit everything. But still, I don't think you can sell him high. So just a hold while Trae Young went off again. Trae has been super good the last couple weeks on their 6-game winning streak. 7th ranked player in the last 2 weeks, actually. Super, super good. 27 points. 9 assists, 1.1 steal. That's good for him. If you can get a top 10 player back, I would top 15. But again, he's not for every. Him and Clint Capella, like a complete opposite, right? Clint Capella, no rebound, no threes, but huge rebound, huge blocks. While Trae Young's rebounding numbers has been okay, to be honest, and he's shooting 50% in the last 2 weeks, so a big sell high, to be honest. For the Spurs, Keldon Johnson, just boring. We could roster him, but just pretty boring numbers. He was a minus 22. Jakob Poeltl, great, 10 rebounds and a block. Good to see he putting up good numbers. And Derek White, I don't know what's up with him this season. His shots are not falling. At some point, you would think that the shots are going to start falling. 98th ranked player, still probably a hold. If anything, a buy low. Like, if I can trade guys in that area, like if I can trade Bogdanovic for Derek White, I would. Jalen Brunson, I would. Even Buddy Hield, I probably would trade him. Buddy Hield mainly just a three-point guy, while Derek White can give you assists, steals, and blocks, and a bit of everything else. He's just shooting the ball so poorly. You would expect him to turn it around at some point. While DeJounte Murray continues to have his breakout season. You would think that, because last year he wasn't really making any threes, maybe under 1 3. 17th ranked player and averaging 1.3 threes. Super, super good. A lot of assists, a lot of rebound, a lot of steals. Super, super good. I don't know what else to say. Devin Vassell, he got hurt. I think he's still a hold. Let's see how bad the injury is. And Thaddeus Young, come on, guys. Just 8 minutes. Let's just drop him everywhere. Let's talk about the next game. This game was also wild. Curry brothers battle it out. They were actually, the Sixers, they were up like 15, 20 points. And then Warriors just say, fuck this. Let's try hard now and then just beat the shit out of them. Matisse Thybulle started. Maybe a bit sell high. The minutes is really high. Danny Green actually played. Hamstring issue, that's surprising. Danny Green is going to ramp up slowly. And I think Danny Green just, once Joel Embiid comes back, Danny Green just fits better while Joel Embiid is playing. So I don't think Matisse Thybulle would get this level of minutes, like 30 plus minutes. Maybe 25 is realistic. Obviously a must roster guy, mainly giving you the defensive stats. I just don't expect him to play 33 minutes once Joel Embiid comes back, when Danny Green is coming back and healthy. So, and again, like, if you trade him, you're going to lose steals and blocks for sure. But if you can get points, rebound, and assists back, I think that's something I personally would do, because steals and blocks have much higher variance. But again, just look at your team situation and make those decisions. Either way, he's probably a sell high at the moment. Andre Drummond, if you can get him for any value, Joel Embiid is confirmed to be back on Saturday, so let's just try to trade him. But same thing with Tyrese Maxey. His usage is going to take a hit. His efficiency is going to fall off at some point. Seth Curry, just a points and 3 streamer. And Danny Green, once he ramps up, I think we could pick him up. Had a huge game in just 17 minutes, 4 steals and a block. And everybody else on the Sixers, let's not worry about them. For the Golden State Warriors, Curry, 25 points, 10 assists and 1 steal. Not the best game. I would still personally trade away Curry for Jokic. But, the value should be pretty close. I think Jokic should be better the rest of the season. Jordan Poole, struggled from the field, but 5 rebounds, 6 assists. No defensive stats this game. But I think for Jordan Poole, it's about, I know Klay is going to impact his minutes a little bit, but he will still get, I think, 30 minutes a night, close to 30 at least. The biggest thing is about how many defensive stats is he going to get. And he will get his shot, score 17 points, 3 threes. But it's about defensive stats. Draymond Green, almost a triple-double. But Draymond hasn't really been blocking shots. That really holding his value back. In the last 2 weeks, he's actually the 54th ranked player in the last 2 weeks. Averaging just 0.7 steals and 0.7 blocks. I mean, obviously 66% from the field and 100% from the free throw is not possible. But if 1.7 steals turn into 1.5, 1.6, and 0.7 blocks turn into 1.2, that's top 30, top 20 value in 9 category leagues. And then if you're punting 3s and points, top 10 player. So Draymond Green is not for everybody. If you're punting points and 3s, he all of a sudden become a top 20 player. And if he can just get more defensive stats, top 10, I think easily. Andrew Wiggins, 19 points, still in the block. 3 for 7 from the free throw line is not great. But, just Andrew Wiggins numbers. But Warriors on a roll. Good to see. And the last game of the night. This is a bad loss for the Portland Trailblazers, Kings, they're a mess, and you lost to them. Damian Lillard played 40 minutes. Looks like he's fine. Everything is fine. He went to the free throw line 16 times. He's still struggling from the field. His efficiency has not bounced back yet. It's still horrible efficiency, but he's putting up pretty big lines, like Harden. Efficiency-wise, still not great, but putting up big lines, 10 assists, 6 rebounds. And him, I probably still prefer Jason Tatum over him, just because the injury concerns. If it lingers again, he might sit out. But the last 2 weeks, he's been super good. 3rd ranked player in the last 2 weeks, averaging 27 points. So that looks like he's back, shooting 45% actually. So the efficiency has not been bad. 3.8 threes. Okay. And been going to the free throw line 7.5 times after this game. So I think all is right with Damian Lillard in the last 2 weeks. Can he sustain it given the injury he has right now? There's a question mark there. Fully healthy, no problem, top 10. But because of injury concerns, CJ McCollum, probably a buy low at the moment. Should be a top 50 player. If you can get Terry Rozier for CJ, I think that's something I would do. Yusuf Nurkic, he got 32 minutes. What? This is the most minutes he's played this year. Maybe Chauncey Billups is freeing him. He also fouled out in 32 minutes. This is a really good start. I would just hold him. I wouldn't sell him high, to be honest, after this game. Who knows? If the guy gets 30 minutes, he has top 20 upside for sure, because he can get blocks, get steals, get assists as a big man, a lot of rebounds, efficient everywhere. So that's a good start for Nurkic. On the season, still averaging just a 24 minutes. Well, 32nd ranked player in the last 2 weeks, while just playing 24 minutes a night. So we'll see. We'll continue to monitor his minutes, his minute situation. Norman Powell played well again, 22 points, 2 steals, and 5 threes. but he's a boring player. If you could trade him for any top 60, 70 player with a bit more counting stats, I would. All of his majority of his value is coming from his efficiency, and if that falls off, I don't know how he's so good efficiency wise. Last year on the Raptors, in the last 2 weeks he's actually the 148th ranked player, so maybe not a sell high, averaging 15 points, absolutely no rebounds, and only 1.4 threes as well, so that's a bit low. But no rebound, no assist, 1.1 steals is fine, no blocks. Yeah, I look to trade him after games like this if you can get any value. Let's look at the Kings, the last team we're going to talk about today. It's been 55 minutes. Damn, that's crazy. I don't think anybody would stay around this far. But let's talk about the Kings. De'Aaron Fox, with the new coach, an okay game. Was in some, he turned the ball over 5 times. But let's just see how De'Aaron Fox, you can't really sell him now. His value at the lowest, just got to hold. And try to buy low if you can. Tyrese Halliburton, 33 minutes. Struggled scoring, but 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals and block. Can't complain, right? That's why Tyrese Halliburton is so good in fantasy. He can multiple categories. All of the categories, to be honest. And he doesn't turn the ball over that much, and fairly efficient most of the nights. Alex Len started. What is going on? Basically, Chimezie Metu is out of the rotation. Those minutes went to Alex Len, Tristan Thompson, and Marvin Bagley. So it's a mess right now. And this game, obviously, we have Richaun Holmes out. Harkless, he started again. Let's not worry about him. And Harrison Barnes also struggled this game as a result. A lot of the minutes went to Davion Mitchell, who's had a decent game, 16 points. But I don't think Davion Mitchell is the guy I want to pick up. The minutes is inconsistent. He's a good defender in real life, but doesn't get that many steals. So those are the things we want to think about if we want to pick him up. And that's it, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow.